and welcome back to our channel. I'm April, life coach, creator, and founder of Lena's Pearls. And this is my husband, Josh, aka Hubby Bear, aka co-life coach, partner, master of many. Okay, so today is our fourth episode of The Truths About Marriage. And we're going to wrap up our series with the third part for Needs and Wants. And today we're going to discuss finances. Also, stay tuned to the end of the video because we have some serious announcements regarding our giveaway and an upcoming event that we'll be doing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, so we wanted to give a disclaimer about the entire series. Number one, we are, as you know, life coaches. We are not licensed therapists. If you are coming across a scenario in your marriage that is extremely detrimental, we always advise you. We're not the end all be all. We've been married for 15 years. We have quite a bit. Like I've said before, we know a little bit about a lot. We don't know everything, and we do not profess to know everything. And also, you know, in time, keeping time, we can't cover everything. So that's why if you do want to schedule coaching calls with us, you can always email us, and all of that information will be at the end and also down below. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to get right into the very third and final part of Needs and Wants, part 3 of 3, finances. Yeah. All right, so you want to start, babe? Or?
Sure.
Oh, and before we forget.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage of choice, coffee, tea, Hennessy, vodka, wine.
Yeah, you can't be naming stuff. We ain't getting paid for that.
Oh, you know what? Anyway.
Look, I ain't dropping names till I'm getting checks cut.
You wearing names, though.
Well, that's a different story.
That's just you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, one of the things that has always been said to me growing up when it came to relationships was finances and romances go together. You can't have one without the other. So, in a relationship, whether it be marriage or dating, as far as if it's something serious where you're actually living together, finances does play a big part, and things should be discussed.
Right.
Someone is always going to make more than the other. That's just the way the world is. It doesn't really matter. Some guys have a problem with the woman making more money than them. I'm not one of those guys. Whether my wife makes more than me or not, look, as long as it's coming into the house.
As long as Bill's getting paid.
I'm fine. Bills is exactly. I do believe that as an individual, you should have your own account, but you should also have a joint account, or it at least be discussed where even if you don't have a joint account for the house, if you have two separate accounts, whoever is in charge of paying the bills, there should be deposits put into the other person's account or a joint account to make sure everything is paid. That way, whatever you have left over, do with what you want, whether you want to save it, whatever, rainy day fund, whatever. But it should definitely be like an open playing field as far as who's what.
Right.
When it comes down to paying bills. With me and her, she used to pay the bills. And not that she didn't do anything wrong, it just wasn't the way I liked. So so I took over paying the bills because I had a certain system. I have a little bit of a OCD. So
a little bit. That's a whole nother. We always say it, but there really is a whole nother.
But so I started paying the bills my way. So normally when she gets paid, I tell her what's due, this and that, and she'll deposit a certain amount into my account, and she pays her other bills on her own. But when it comes to the house, she does deposit stuff, and it's not anything where, oh, you owe me this, you owe me that. And
right, we don't play those games.
I never believe in that.
No.
I had a customer the other day that came into the shop where he brought his wife's car in to get brakes done, and as he's paying the bill, he's, oh, she's giving me that back. Mind you, now this guy was in his 70s. Oh, she's gonna owe me. But that's your wife. Like, y'all are a team. Like it shouldn't be anybody owing anything. It's a team effort.
Right.
Y'all became one. So
Right.
y'all are doing this thing called life together.
Exactly.
So it shouldn't be you owe me this, you owe me that.
Right.
It's a team thing. So let's handle this. And well, I wanted to say something else, but let's handle this and do what we got to do.
Wait a minute, though. Here's the thing. We don't judge because we always promote whatever works for you works for you. There could be
Yes.
reasons behind that. We know several couples that actually are like that, where they've gotten into this you owe me and pay me back, and for the sake of being transparent and not putting so many others on Front Street, because like we said, it's what works for you. What works for us and what we've done is we're joint on both of our accounts. We don't
Yeah.
have a separate account for the house. We suggest that because that seems to be what works when people can't seem to find a common ground.
Yes.
We found our common ground. So our common ground is he has his own account, I'm joined on that. I have my own account, he's joined on it. And then we have our business accounts, and he's the only person that can draw off of and is also on all of those other business accounts that we have. So that's just what works for us. And that kind of goes into the point that I think the first point that you were, because you kind of went into another point ahead of time.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, there's someone making more money than the other.
Well,
We can even circle back to that because there was
Yeah.
something else I wanted to add to. But someone may be so number one is someone may be better at money management than the other in your union. Josh, not that I'm irresponsible, because for a good 7 years, while I was shoot all my life pretty much, I had to pay my own bills. I had my own when I met Josh. I had my own home, car payment, whatever. I had to take care of kids. So I've always been pretty good at money management as it related to what I was doing. But he is phenomenal when it comes to money management. And so he's just always been the one that just will handle it overall. I mean, he would get my bills. We stopped doing that because we had a blowout one day. But what we did originally do is I did pay all the bills, and to clear it up, and see that's why these videos be like hours long. But anyway, to clear it up, the reason why he started to take over the bills is because I learned a hard lesson. Actually, we both learned a hard lesson was
Yes.
when I was doing, and if y'all want to know about this, we can just do a blog or a Facebook post about this specifically. But I was paying our bills through our bank account. Those pay your bill, whatever. I forget
The
what
automated
those
things,
automatic payments.
yeah.
And what I did not know, but I know now, and I tell anybody that wants to listen is, don't do that anymore. Because what happens is what you think you're doing is you're setting your bills up ahead of time to pay out through your bank account, thinking it's like some electronic transmission or something going to your creditors, and it's not. A lot of them are doing what you're doing, creating a check, putting a stamp on an envelope, and sending it. So depending on how many days ahead you've scheduled that payment, you end up late. And we
Yes.
both could not figure out why. So in one of our disputes about it, because yes, me and Josh do argue. We're cute, but we get it in. We argue
We
too.
don't argue like that.
We don't really argue like that anymore. But in our beginnings. So anyway,
Yes.
and so of course we didn't know that at the time, but by the time it was all figured out, it was already late and done. I threw up and said, well, you know what, here you go. You start paying the bills. But what he would do is when he would get all the bills in, he would write amounts or whatever and help me budget to make sure I pay certain things off. And he's just really
Pay
good
extra,
at that.
yes.
Okay. So, and then of course we had to pay blowout. Now I just do all my own stuff and he does stuff and we do like you said. But
Yes.
another point I wanted to make about this really quickly before this gets too long-winded is that because there is the one that you've identified in your union that may be better at the money management, do not make your spouse feel less than a human being. Do not degrade
Yes.
and belittle and treat them unfair. And you have to keep them aware of your financial circumstances, what's going on, why you need to save. And we'll get into that also. We're going to get into that a little bit further down. But that's key. There's nothing wrong with being the stronger person as far as keeping your eye on the bullseye, but you can't degrade and because you're still married to another adult.
Yes.
And don't complain if they're unaware and they're spending money and jacking things up and you're not making them aware, because
Yeah, if you didn't say anything, then
you have to keep them in the loop. You have to keep it's all about every
Communication.
aspect is about communication. But yeah, so okay. Did you want to do my number one? Since I did, you had to do your number one.
well, I kind of did mine.
No, you did not. You did my number two. Okay, number two.
I kind of did a little.
Yeah, you blended
We're
them.
good. We're good. Let's
You
keep
drinking
it
a little
going.
too much, babe? What you got going on over there in that glass?
I'm good.
Okay. Well, where do you start? Where you want to start? Go ahead. Do your thing.
Well, I already did that one.
Okay. But I kind of okay. You have to be on the same page. That kind of goes into what I was saying. You have to be on the same page as far as your financial goals, your financial outlook. The house buying, you want to start a business, your retirement plan, savings, and these are not in any particular order. But that's why we're saying that whoever is the better at the money management, because there's always going to be someone who's just a little bit stronger or better or whatever the case is when it comes to your finances and keeping you on track. So it's important. The reason why it is so important to keep the other person aware of what's going on and don't just let them walk around la la la. Because when you start saving for a house, when you start wanting to start investing in a business, or you want to start talking about your retirement and your savings, they have to be a part of the goal.
Yeah, it's a team effort.
It's right.
It's always, it can't be hiding money and this and that, that's not a marriage. That's not.
If you can't trust the person with your money and your finances, you don't have no business being married. And we don't really judge like that. We really try not to do that. But I don't understand why you're married to someone that you can't trust with your finances. That's a problem.
Yes.
If you could trust them with your body and raising your kids and stuff, then you should be able to trust them with your money and not tearing you.
Definitely.
Anyway, sorry.
No, it goes hand in hand.
It does. It really does go hand in hand.
But it's so we'll go into the next thing because it's kind of what we're
They all
going into
blend.
anyway. Yeah,
Everything blends.
So your spouse may have a habit, and sometimes if the money he or she makes doesn't really support that habit, then of course when it comes to the money, okay, well, I got this for bills, but I'm keeping this to the side so I could go get my weed or go get my liquor or whatever the vice may be.
Shopping.
Even somebody smokes cigarettes. Look how much they are these days. Like, that's part of budgeting. Like, if you got a habit and you can't afford that habit, then somewhere down the line, it's going to be some confusion. It's going to be some, well, look, I had to get my cigarettes. My smokes. I need my smokes. Like.
Also, I've heard of scenarios where, one of the partners is the one that's responsible for all the house and the other partner is just spending their money on whatever they decide to spend it on. That's just not going to work.
That to me, that makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't understand.
That as an adult, I don't know how you could be in a relationship or be married to someone and feel as though, okay, well, you make more money than me, so you go ahead and handle the bills, and then when I get paid, I'm going to pay my car payment, but the rest of my money, I'm just going to go blow. Yeah, I'm going to go to the club, and I'm going to act like I'm balling, and like, no, that's not a marriage. That's
right. You have to have these conversations and understand everyone's perspective on excessive spending and budgeting and saving. These are conversations that need to constantly happen. Because at the end of the day, and I've said this before, we're all one paycheck away. Some of us, most of us are all one paycheck illness and situation away from life shifting our financial situation. And if that person that's been the breadwinner, if it's worked, because we still always say whatever works, if it works, it ain't nobody hurting nobody and nobody's talking divorce because money's crazy and fine. But you still have to be responsible and have the talks and kind of help teach each other. This is because you never know. You just never know. Like I said in the first one, my father stayed making bank. Cancer took my dad's savings like he never had it. And my mother hadn't worked for, 15 plus years. I mean, she did little jobs or whatever, but like she was not sitting pretty when daddy left. And she pretty much did exactly what we were talking about. Daddy had bank and she wanted for nothing. And she pretty much spent whatever little side money she made off of, doing tailoring and stuff. Like she had all kind of skills that she did all kind of things. But and even the allowance and whatever daddy would give her, like she would blow it. So not only did she she was not the greatest at money management. God rest mommy's soul when daddy did pass away. But, she was left kind of like, okay, now what? Thank God the house was paid off and he set certain things up. But she was not sitting as pretty as daddy had worked his life for, because you just don't know what's going to happen. So not only habits as far as your shopping habits and alcohol, if you like to smoke weed, drinks.
It's a lot of different.
But friends and family, You somebody that's always in somebody's pocket and
Always coming asking for
money, and you don't realize
gambling
that they're,
habits.
it's
so many.
kids.
It's
If
so
you
many
have
different
grown
things
kids that
yes.
the mom is always bailing the son out, and
And I know quite a few customers that come to the shop where I'm talking, these people should be retired. They're still working because they have kids that's in their mid-30s
Yes.
with grandkids
Yes.
that's moving back in with them.
Yes.
And that's, no,
yeah,
that
even
look.
grandkids, like if they don't live with you, you have to understand what your home bottom line is. And it just doesn't always, it's not falling on the person that is responsible. This falls on the person that knows that they're not the one that's the most responsible financially.
Yes.
You cannot tear down home to help others. You just can't
Yes.
do it. Because they're in no position to help you when it falls. So what y'all going to do?
Yes.
If you are, grandparents and you sitting up there and you got 20-something-year-old kids that have kids now and your grandparents or whatever the case is, and you up here constantly, hiding and stealing money, not really stealing money, but taking money away from home, your husband or your wife doesn't know it because you bailing this one out and bailing that one out.
Yep.
And, something goes down and you're looking at each other like, now what? What you going to do, pack up and go move with your 20-something-year-old kid and the grandbabies? If y'all house, you have to, it's just not fair to the other person who's trying to keep you guys afloat you have to communicate and talk about these things. And you have to stand firm. These outside
Yes.
sources, you have to stand firm. In this
Yes.
marriage, no is no. If he says no, it's no, period. You know what I mean? And vice versa. We're always a joint team. I remember the kids tried it several times. Oh, because we're blended. So a lot of, like my sons didn't always live 24 hours with us. The girls did, the two oldest. So there was times like with our sons, we would just let them know we don't divide nothing over here. If she said you ain't getting it, you're not getting it. And
Yes.
then because sometimes I love my sons.
Yes.
So you had to get on me
I
about
had to
it.
check her in the Foot Locker one day. School shopping. Quick little story. So they
I love my babies.
all of them got like the thing, at least what, 2 pairs of sneakers each
Yeah, they
for
did.
the school year?
Yes, they did.
Got all the clothes
We
they
have
wanted,
4,
this and
mind
that.
you. We have 4. 2 girls,
So
2
this
boys.
was the era when everybody wanted to wear the socks with the different NBA players and stuff on them.
They were funky too.
So what happens, she looks at them, oh, y'all want those? Mind you, she never looked at the price. I seen the price.
I was gonna buy them.
They was like $35, $40 for a pair of socks. One pair of socks.
It wasn't that.
Because they had
It
a
was
player's
having a sale.
image on them and stuff. And no. I looked at her, I said no. I looked at them, I said no. Like, y'all got enough. Like, some kids get 1 pair of sneakers for the whole school year.
I know that,
Like,
but I'm just saying, like, Lil Josh really wanted those socks.
and- but no.
I was gonna get my
No.
baby them socks, and you don't even know. But I was going to see practice what you preach. I was going to sneak and go
No,
order them off.
it's-
I
no.
forgot to do it, but that you have to be a unified front in all things, especially your finances. Would the $30-some-odd socks killed our finances? No.
No,
but a
but it
lot
made
of
no
times,
sense.
you have to show people that there's no division here. That was the overall point, especially with your
Yeah.
kids, because I know it's hard. That's why I always mention kids, because we understand that
I'm
more
just
than
saying,
you know.
I'm getting old, but daggone $30, that's a whole year's worth of
It
socks.
wasn't even then. It's so many years ago. Anyway, but you do. You have to be. So even with kids, you have to put your foot down. If one, and we've always both been on the same page with our finances. We've always communicated with things when buying houses, starting businesses. He's
Yes.
always been involved. You see, he's on the channel. He's every little step. Everything. So, and that just has always worked for us. I understand it's not always easy, but you have to work to do the best that you possibly can in your circumstance, to communicate effectively and make sure that you are on the same page financially. Because at the end of the day, look, all our kids are gone, and it's just the 2 of us. The house can't be falling around us because I done went and $30-something socks. But think of the bigger picture. If I was constantly anyway. Let's move
No,
on.
it's true, but still, when you think about it, though, it's not even a $30
It's
pair
the
of socks.
principle.
It's
the
exactly.
principle.
It's
Like, you're not going to divide us so that you can get something out of this house.
if you got a life insurance payment that's $30 a month, when you look at it like that, like, this is for our future. If something happens to us, you gonna go blow $30 on a pair of socks that the kids don't really need? It was something that they wanted.
Mind you, he had this conversation with me in the middle of Foot Locker. How embarrassing.
Well,
Embarrassed me and my babies
look,
at the time.
I'm just saying.
Fine, move on. Next subject.
Moving on.
Done with you.
What's
Fired.
the next subject?
I don't even know. We're so sorry, guys.
We're a little all over the place.
We really are. Sorry.
No, I already
You had
discussed
already spoke on
that.
that. Well, told you.
Yeah.
You took my subject.
I did discuss that.
Yes, you did.
Okay,
Debt
so
credit.
move to the next one then.
You announce it. I'm going to sip.
So debt and credit issues, which we've mentioned before in other videos, as far as if you get married and you were in debt, then your spouse is going to be in debt with you.
That's right.
But you do have to work. And like I said, somebody's always better at managing money. Somebody's always better with saving money. So when it comes to being in debt or having to file bankruptcy, you have to communicate and actually have a plan.
Right.
Because if you file bankruptcy and you come out of the hole and you start getting on your feet, you can't practice those same habits that got you there in the first place.
Exactly.
You have to change and realize what you did, communicate with your spouse again. And like she said before, my credit was bad when we got together.
And
not because I didn't have money.
My credit wasn't the greatest either because not long before that, I had filed for bankruptcy. You know what I mean? And voluntarily put a car in it and all that stuff. And you were coming along in my life at a time that I had just done that too.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes it's sad because, and we're examples of this, but you can make really good money and have horrible credit. And everything can't be bought with cash. Everybody always says cash is king. No, it's not. Not all the time. Not in every scenario. It's really not.
Yeah, not if you want a house.
You know, okay?
Not if you want an $80,000 vehicle.
Unless you want to go ahead and buy a fixer-upper and a come get it now and hurry up.
And look, I'll say real quick for me, I was making good money.
Always.
And I started looking at what I was paying in credit card payments every month.
And this is before I came
I
along.
decided, I said, well, if I'm paying all that, I could just not pay anything. And I could just let the money stack up in the bank. And at this time, I had like a 750 credit score. I just stopped paying on everything.
So
Only thing I was paying was car insurance. I didn't even have a car payment back then.
So we both had horrible credit.
I let it stack up,
Made good
and next
money.
thing you know, my score is like in the 500s.
couldn't do
But
nothing.
I had saved almost 30 grand in 1 year.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, with the 30 grand, just pay off the daggone car.
But
But see, that's young and dumb. We were
Exactly.
Listen, we said we'll stay transparent. You know, we're teaching these lessons because we've learned these lessons.
Yes.
You know, so we, in our beginnings, we had to do what we had to do. And it was like a 2.5 year process to build our credit back up to purchase our first home. And we did rent at the time and all of that until we could get things together.
Yeah.
And it takes sacrifice. It takes staying on the same page, being on the same. That's what goes back to the previous point about you have to be on the same page because
Always.
when you're about to try to do these things, you need both of you to work it out. Because then we could have never accomplished that if he was on that goal and I was over here spinning and buying $30-some-odd socks.
And that's where you got to communicate and discuss goals and stuff.
Exactly.
It's not just, okay, we got married, we're having kids, and now what?
Yeah, you have to stay
you have
constantly.
Everybody aspires to be something.
Exactly.
So you might work a job for 20 years, then all of a sudden end up doing what you love to do and end up making so much money that, like, really.
Right. You got to sit down and have the talk.
Yes, you have to have those talks.
Okay, your credit is this, my credit is that, or whatever. Even if you are in a situation where someone is doing good, got money in the bank, and their credit is great, and now they're merging their life with you, well, y'all need to sit down and discuss, okay, is everything going to be in their name? Do you want to be on your mortgage? And your, like, something happened today, tomorrow? I mean, you have to have those talks. You have to sit down and say, what are we doing?
Yes.
What is the goal? How are we going to achieve it? Goes back to the one who makes the better money, who's better at money management. That's why you need to, because you can't sit and complain about your spouse if you're doing it all and you're letting them be completely
if you
oblivious.
ain't saying anything,
then it's on you. You have only yourself to blame.
you huffing and puffing and you just paying the bills. You going to work and ain't saying anything to them. Like, look, maybe you need to get a better job.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to go get a second job.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be communication. And look, something's got to work.
Right.
Like,
and you're not, I say this all the time, because for some reason with marriages, it's like public enemy number one against public enemy number one. It's like this battle of who's got to be right and who's going to out the other person. And it's just such animosities and hurt and just craziness in a marriage, especially when it comes down to communication. This is the person you decided to join your life with forever. go to the grave with. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Till death do you part and all that. And so it makes no sense that you would not want to communicate and be on the same page and obtain and manage goals together, because it's for the both of you. But
Yeah,
you gonna
like,
move the
be
house
great
by
together.
yourself?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you? I mean, if it's for the family, then you two, the heads of the family, need to communicate and be on the same page. And unfortunately, yes, them 2.5 years, it's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take not
Sometimes
going
it
out.
might be 5 years.
It's going to take oodles and noodles.
Yeah.
It's going to take sometimes depending on the goal, it's going to take, and then when you obtain the goal, like if the goal is to buy the house, you might need to do some renovations and what have you, and paint and put new carpet and da-da-da, because you got what you could get.
Da-da-da.
I know, da-da-da, right? Yada, yada, yada,
I
blah,
haven't
say
said
blah.
yada, yada.
No, you haven't. But I was just trying to use other way. So, but so in order to, you have to be on the same page with all of this. You just have to.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you want to do that together? And going back to what we said before, repeating ourselves, but it has to be said again, what works for you works for you. Fine. What works for us works for us. Some situations you just cannot trust that y'all can have a joint account, because
Yeah,
will mess
if
you
somebody
up.
got habits and they go
Right.
dipping and
Right,
mess and
that's a whole nother situation that needs to be addressed. And that's why we always promote counseling and coaching of some sort, because sometimes you can't do it on your own. You sometimes do need a unbiased person, a neutral party to sit down and help you plan a budget and help you sit down with your goals and find out what the issue is.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's accountability and communication. You know which one of you is the one that's jacking up whatever. They don't have layaways, Christmas clubs, and all that kind of stuff for nothing. They even have vacation. Listen, there's all kind of ways to manage your money without you having to touch a joint account or worry about somebody jacking something up. But that's why you have all these habits. Like I remember the one time, just to share another story, my mom, I forget where me and mom went. I don't know if we were down to the casino or something. I don't remember what we were doing. But she was like, and you know how expensive my purses are. And she was like, oh, here, she wanted me to like rip the side of my purse, because we hit like on a penny machine or something. And she wanted me like to rip the side of my purse and tuck it away to hide money. I said, I said, I don't hide money from my husband. I don't have to hide money from my husband. That's just our marriage, though. I understand, but this don't happen here. I was like, do women really do that? Like, how blind am I that?
No, that's
And I do know you have to hide money from people sometimes. And it ain't always because, sometimes it's because, oh, he'll see this extra 100 and want me to put it on the bill, and we already got that budget and we're on task and we're on target. I want to keep my little $100. I do get it, ladies. Trust me. But, sometimes I understand some things are a little bit more extreme. And like we said earlier in the video, we can't cover it all. We try to give you guys the nuts and bolts with our craziness, but the solid point is you have to communicate. You have to stay on the same page. You have to stay on the same goals. You just have to, because I don't know what you're doing otherwise. What's the point? What's your point? You could have just stayed by yourself for all that.
Yeah. 'Cause when the kids is gone and everything is said and done, they off and having kids, having their life, and y'all sitting looking at each other, and kids is gone. Why are we still in debt?
Yeah, why are we still struggling? It's not supposed to be harder. It's supposed to get easier. Did you want to get into this? Because the overall issue is, and the reason why we actually decided to, the wine, to do finances, pardon me.
It's the wine.
It's the wine, child. Money and sex, they're like the top two reasons driving forces behind divorce.
Yes.
I almost want to say money actually is number one, not even sex, but I have to research a little bit more.
I would say money is definitely number one, because it's times in our past where if I was stressed out about paying bills and this and that, I wasn't worried about sex. Because I'm thinking, how we going to do this and do that and
it gets ugly
keep everything going.
when money's tight.
So, okay, she might be wanting sex, and I'm in a whole nother place of like, how are we going to do all this? Budgeting and looking at everything. So I'm not giving her what she needs. So I'm not getting what I need or want. And there's when divorce comes up.
But he also learned in that too. Like we learn, we practice, we preach, that he had to, because you can't leave me clueless. I don't know what your goal is. If you have a separate goal besides our general bills to run a house and kids and whatnot, and you've got some other thing that you want to do or venture or something that you want to pay down sooner than the other, and you can't just keep that to yourself, because I'm going to continue to go as normal. I'm not going to know that you wanted to get, the water down or the whatever it is, and you're stressing about it all by yourself. Well, what am I supposed to do with that? So we learned a lot of this. I mean, that's why we're teaching. It's where we learned a lot of this. It's communication. It's communication. And that's what, honestly, that's what part of preparation for marriage, and before you merge your life and your home, or even if you're cohabitating, you need to learn these things, because marriage does not change this. And one of the biggest things, just to go back to the whole credit and debt, issue is, when you merge, you might still have great credit, but you can't build with somebody who also does not have great credit.
Yeah.
So your debt is going to be that person's debt now.
So even though they have a nice income, if their credit,
we couldn't buy a house like that.
You can't have them as a co-signer. They're going to bring you down.
Yeah. And I do loan signings as a little side thing that I do. And it's plenty of loan signings where they're refinancing their mortgage and the wife is not on it. She's on the deed, because in Jersey where we are, you can't touch and do anything with the marital house. Really? The clock is chiming. Is that letting us know? But anyway, so you can't do anything in Jersey in the marital home without the spouse being on. So, hi, Mom. Mommy bought me that clock. Remember?
Yes.
Hi, Mommy. She knew we was talking about these finances.
Guess that's time for a drink.
It's always time for a drink. So anyway, that's pretty much it for this, you guys. This went kind of long. We were trying to make this one short, but we wanted to go over the giveaway. So as I announced in our Facebook group, and if you're not part of our Facebook group, you need to get in our group. The link is down below. We got some little feedback. Yes. And so, I'll let you announce the new giveaway rules and all.
So what we're going to do now, instead of the 1,000 subscriber getting $1,000, being it to our loyal subscribers that have already subscribed,
who we love,
we're going to break it up and do 4 random winners for $250.
Right.
We're still going to do something for the 1,000 subscriber, maybe still do $100, but of course for all the loyal subscribers, which we need more subscribers.
Right, and for those people that it's not, and you guys were right, and Josh had even said something, it's not fair to those that have been riding with us all through this.
Watching the videos, subscribing, liking,
and promoting us, and really, getting us this channel growing. It's not fair for you guys to watch 1,000th person come on here and get the $1,000. And I kind of thought about that as we were doing it, but I was like, I don't know how. So anyway, and that's why me and my hubby communicate.
So we're definitely going to come up with something random, whether we put everybody's numbers in a bowl or whatever. We're going to figure out something random to just bless. Yes. 4 subscribers.
4 subscribers, definitely. So we will treat the 1,000th, but we definitely want to show love and appreciation to those that have just been riding with the channel, man. It's only fair. So we're going to give out 4 $250 gifts.
Gift cards or
cash app, however, and then the 1,000 subscriber will get something as well. So that's one of the announcements. So what do we always say? Like and subscribe. Subscribe
before you like.
And well, it's kind of anyway.
Subscribe before you like.
Hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted every time we upload as well. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Those links will be down below. If you have any content ideas, if you have any advice that you would like, if you want to schedule a coaching call with Josh or I, if you want Josh specifically, just in the subject line, attention Josh to lenaspearls4@gmail.com. Anything to me, I'll just get anyway. But before we go, we wanted to announce an upcoming event that we're going to be doing for Lena's Pearls. We're going to be hosting an awesome event for couples. This coming January, we're going to have Candlelight in You. Great event, 4-hour-long event with dinner and drinks. Chance for you to come out and be cute. What's the dress code? You said the dress code was, you coined it something.
Keep it grown and sexy.
Grown and sexy is going to be the dress code. We'll give all that information probably on the channel as well as in the Facebook group. So that's going to be really nice. We haven't set the date and location yet, and we are still going to do the mothers and daughters event as well. But okay,
Yeah.
is there anything else you wanted to add?
No,
Mama?
just give us more feedback,
Yes,
comment.
because we do listen. We
Definitely.
read every email. Every email is in confidence unless you give us permission to share something on the channel. We respond right away, and we do respond to all comments as well. So don't forget to comment and open up the conversation down below. Don't be afraid.
Yes.
All negative comments going to be taken up off of here anyway, so you don't have to be afraid of any backlash.
And if you want shout outs, we could always shout you out too.
Yeah,
Just let
we
us
love to
know.
do shout outs. We'll shout you. Give us permission to shout you out. We want to floss and put our subscribers on the mat. All right, that's it, guys. Until next time, this is the end of the Needs and Wants series. And we'll be doing episode 5 soon, so look for that. Take care. You and that thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.